Thank you, Speaker. And Speaker, it's great that the Premier has decided to answer a few questions. Perhaps you'll answer this one. This is directed to the Premier. Perhaps you'll answer this one.
Stop the clock. The member from Etobicoke North is warned. And some members try to hide their voices by putting their hand in front of their mouth. That's not going to work.
Let's give a straightforward, honest answer to this question. The Hydro One board recently secretly agreed to pay the Hydro One CEO over $10 million in severance should he be fired. Now, the Premier had to know of this deal because she has said herself that the province retains control of the board. The question is this: when did she know, and why would she sign off on this kind of secret, obscene deal?
Thank you.
Minister of Energy.
Mr. Speaker, I find it very ironic that the opposition talks about not answering questions when their own leader refuses to answer questions to the media outside every time they're asked. This Premier answers questions in the House. This Premier answers questions to the media. But what we saw yesterday was Mr. Ford take one question and then do the duck and dash, Mr. Speaker. He needs to put on running shoes, not dress shoes, because the man refuses to answer questions. Mr. Speaker, it's appalling that the opposition has no plan.
This House is requesting me to set a record for the amount of time I can stand. I can go an hour. That'll cause me to go longer. Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll take no lessons from the opposite party when it comes to making sure that we take questions, answer questions, and make sure that we put forward a platform and a policy that makes a difference for the people.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Speaker, we look forward to the opportunity to answer questions in this chamber. Back to the Premier. We'll try again. If the CEO and the board of Hydro One have any respect for the taxpayers, for Ontario, or for the people, they would resign today. Will the Premier march over to Hydro One, demand and subsequently accept the resignation of the board?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So how will that help ratepayers, Mr. Speaker? Right now, we brought forward a plan that's reducing rates by 25%. 25% on average for all residences across the province and for 500,000 small businesses and farms, Mr. Speaker. The CEO's salary wouldn't take pennies off of anyone's bills, Mr. Speaker. So that's why we brought forward the Fair Hydro Plan. And the Fair Hydro Plan, Mr. Speaker, takes that 25% off and actually helped many Hydro One customers, customers from Chapleau, from Atikokan, customers from Innisfil Hydro, from Northern Ontario Wires, just to name a few, Mr. Speaker. They're seeing their rates reduced somewhere between 35% and 50% on average, Mr. Speaker. That is something that we actually put in place and is something that they voted against. Once upon a time, Mr. Speaker, they snuck that into the People's Guarantee. Now we know where the People's Guarantee went. Right. That went to the trash, Mr. Speaker. But the Fair Hydro Plan, this is a program that's working for the people of Ontario. They recognized it once. They should recognize it again, Mr. Speaker.